She had 15 minutes to change her life, 15 minutes to make it to the interview that would finally lift her out of poverty. But when Aliyah saw a stranger drowning in the rain with a dead car battery, she made a choice that cost her everything, or so she thought, because 3 days later, she walked into a luxury hotel suite and came face to face with the same man, except now he wasn't just some stranger. He was Ethan Walker, the billionaire CEO who was supposed to interview her, and the look in his eyes said he remembered everything. What she didn't know was that her one act of kindness would spark a love so powerful it would tear through class barriers, family opposition, and her own crippling fear of never being enough. But when his brother accused her of being a gold digger, and she overheard words that shattered her heart, Aliyah ran, convinced that fairy tales don't happen to girls who clean toilets for a living. Subscribe right now and comment where you're watching from, because what happens next will prove that sometimes the interview you miss is exactly the destiny you were meant to find. The rain started just as Aliyah James stepped off the bus. Of course it did. She clutched her folder against her chest and hurried down the crowded sidewalk. Her worn flats splashed through puddles. The interview was in 15 minutes. She'd practiced her answers all week. This was her chance, her one shot at something better than cleaning rooms and scrubbing toilets. The Grand Meridian Hotel needed an assistant manager, real pay, real respect, a desk instead of a mop bucket. Her phone buzzed in her pocket, but she didn't stop. Probably her mom calling to wish her luck again. Marsha James had been talking about this interview non-stop for days, already planning how Aliyah would finally move out of their cramped apartment. The rain fell harder. Aliyah picked up her pace. That's when she saw him. A man stood beside a sleek black car on the side of the street, hood popped open, rain soaking through his white dress shirt. He looked frustrated, running a hand through his dark hair as he stared at the engine like it had personally betrayed him. Aliyah slowed. Just for a second. She should keep walking. She was already cutting it close, but something in his expression caught her. He looked so lost, so out of place, like someone used to having all the answers suddenly had none. The rain poured down on both of them. "Excuse me," she heard herself say, stopping a few feet away. He looked up, surprised. His eyes were a startling shade of blue-gray like storm clouds. Water dripped from his hair onto his face. "Do you need help?" she asked. He blinked at her, then gave a helpless laugh. "My battery's dead. I called for help, but they said 45 minutes minimum." He gestured at the car. "I have an important meeting." Aliyah glanced at her phone. 12 minutes now. "There's a convenience store 2 blocks that way," she said, pointing. "They sell jumper cables. And there's usually taxis near the corner." "Thank you." His voice was warm, genuine. "I really appreciate it." She should go, right now. But the rain was absolutely drenching him, and he looked so uncomfortable. Aliyah made a decision she'd questioned for days. She opened her umbrella, a cheap thing barely big enough for one person, and held it out to him. "Take this." "What? No, I can't." "Take it," she insisted. "I'm almost there anyway." That was a lie. She had 6 blocks to go. He stared at her like she'd offered him gold. "Are you sure? Positive?" She pushed the umbrella into his hands and gave him a quick smile. "Good luck with your meeting." Then she ran. The rain soaked through her blazer within seconds. Her careful curls went flat against her head. Her folder grew damp in her arms, but she held it tight and kept moving. 5 blocks. 4. 3. Her phone said 9:02. The interview was at 9:05. She burst through the revolving doors of the Grand Meridian, soaking wet and out of breath. The lobby was all marble floors and crystal chandeliers. Too fancy, too perfect. And she looked like she'd swum there. A woman at the reception desk looked up with barely concealed judgment. Her name tag read Jessica. Her hair was pulled back in a tight bun, not a strand out of place. "I'm here for the assistant manager interview," Aliyah gasped, trying to catch her breath. "Aliyah James." "I know I'm late, but—" "The interview window closed at 9, Jessica said coolly. "Mr. Walker only had 1 opening this morning." Aliyah's heart sank. "Please, I can explain. There was rain and traffic and I'm sorry, but the position required punctuality." Jessica's tone said she wasn't sorry at all. "Mr. Walker has already moved on with his schedule. Can I reschedule, please?" "Mr. Walker is returning to New York this afternoon. This was the only interview slot." Aliyah stood there dripping on the marble floor, watching her future slip away. All because she'd stopped to help a stranger. No, that wasn't fair. She'd made a choice. A good choice, even if it cost her. "Okay," she said quietly. "Thank you, anyway." Jessica had already looked back down at her computer. Aaliyah turned and walked out, her wet shoes squeaking against the floor. Outside, the rain had slowed to a drizzle. She stood under the hotel awning and finally let herself feel it, the crushing weight of disappointment. She'd been so close, so ready. Her phone rang. Mom. Hey, baby. How'd it go? Aaliyah closed her eyes. It didn't. I was late. Silence on the other end. Then a long sigh. Aaliyah. I know, Mama. I know. What happened? Just bad timing. She couldn't explain about the stranger. Not yet. It sounded too foolish. I'll find something else. You've been saying that for 2 years, baby. You're 27 years old. You deserve better than scrubbing other people's floors. I have to go, Aaliyah said softly. My shift starts soon. Because of course it did. Her regular job, housekeeping at the very same Grand Meridian Hotel. The universe had a mean sense of humor. We'll talk tonight, Marcia said. Love you. Love you too, Mama. Aaliyah ended the call and made her way around to the employee entrance at the back of the building. The glamorous lobby disappeared, replaced by concrete walls and fluorescent lights. She changed into her uniform in the cramped locker room, grey dress, white apron, comfortable shoes. Her friend Gloria was already there, pulling her hair into a net. Gloria was 40, strong as an ox, and had been working housekeeping for 15 years. She took one look at Aaliyah's face and knew. The interview didn't go well. Didn't happen at all. I was late. Oh, honey. Gloria pulled her into a quick hug. I'm sorry. It's fine. It wasn't meant to be. Don't say that. You're too smart to be pushing carts forever. Pushing carts pays my rent, Aaliyah pointed out. Barely. Gloria grabbed her supply cart. Come on. We got the executive floor today. Great, Aaliyah muttered. Nothing like cleaning luxury suites to remind you of everything you don't have. They took the service elevator up to the 15th floor, the executive level, where rooms cost more per night than Aaliyah made in a week. The carpet was plush under her feet. The hallway smelled like expensive flowers and leather. Everything was hushed, elegant, a different world from the cramped apartment she shared with her mother in Queens. You start on 1502, Gloria said, checking her clipboard. I'll take 1505. Radio if you need anything. Aaliyah nodded and pushed her cart down the hallway. The suite door was already propped open. Guests must have checked out early. She knocked anyway. Housekeeping? No answer. She wheeled her cart inside and stopped. The suite was huge. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city, a living area with leather furniture, a dining table that could seat 6, bedroom through the open door to the left, and standing in that doorway, wearing dark slacks and buttoning a crisp dress shirt, was the man from the street. They both froze. His hair was damp from a shower. His eyes went wide with recognition. Water droplets still clung to his neck. You, he said. Aaliyah's face went hot. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I'll come back. No, wait. He stepped forward, finishing the last button. You're the woman who gave me her umbrella. She couldn't speak. Her mind was racing, connecting pieces that didn't want to fit together. White dress shirt, important meeting, this suite. You're Mr. Walker, she said faintly. Ethan. He smiled, and it transformed his whole face. Ethan Walker. And you are? Aaliyah. James. Her voice came out barely above a whisper. The CEO. The man she was supposed to interview with. The man she'd helped instead of racing to meet. This is... Ethan laughed softly, shaking his head. This is unexpected. I should go. Aaliyah grabbed her cart handle. You were coming here this morning, he said suddenly. The interview. You were late because of me. She couldn't look at him. It's fine. It was my choice. You stopped to help me and it cost you the interview. Really, it's okay. She started backing toward the door, desperate to escape. I'll send someone else to clean your room. Aaliyah, wait. But she was already gone, practically running down the hallway. Her heart hammered in her chest. Of all the rooms in this hotel, of all the people in this city, she found an empty supply closet and leaned against the wall, trying to catch her breath. This couldn't be happening. Her radio crackled. Aaliyah, you okay? Gloria's voice snapped her back. She grabbed the radio. Yeah, fine. Just needed to grab more towels. She gave herself 30 seconds. Then she straightened her shoulders and went back to work. But for the rest of her shift, all she could think about was the look in Ethan Walker's eyes. Surprised, intrigued, and something else she couldn't quite name. The next 3 days were torture. Aaliyah volunteered for every floor except the 15th. She took the early shifts when executives were usually out. She practically hid behind her cart whenever she saw anyone in a business suit. Gloria noticed. Gloria noticed everything. You're avoiding someone, she said on Thursday. catching Aaliyah in the break room. "I'm not. Baby, I've known you for 3 years. You're absolutely avoiding someone." Gloria leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "Is it that CEO? The one who's been here all week?" Aaliyah's silence was answer enough. "Oh, honey." Gloria's expression softened. "What happened?" "Nothing happened. That's the problem." Aaliyah stared into her terrible break room coffee. "I helped him when his car broke down. Missed my interview because of it. Then found out he was the CEO I was supposed to meet. That's some movie plot stuff right there. It's humiliating." "Why? You did a kind thing." "I don't want his pity, Gloria. I don't want him looking at me like some charity case who needs rescuing." Gloria studied her for a long moment. "Is that what he did?" Aaliyah thought about the surprise in Ethan's eyes, the warmth in his smile, the way he'd said her name like he wanted to remember it. "No," she admitted, "but it doesn't matter. He's a CEO from New York. I'm a maid from Queens. That's not a story that ends well. Who says it has to end at all? Maybe it's just starting." "Gloria, I'm just saying, rich men are still men, and men like women who are kind and real. Maybe he's interested. He's not interested. He's just being polite." But even as Aaliyah said it, she wasn't sure she believed it. That afternoon, management called her to serve at a private dinner in the hotel restaurant. Apparently, they were short-staffed, and she had experience waitressing from college. She should have known it was a setup. The restaurant was dim and elegant, with white tablecloths and candles on every surface. Aaliyah wore the standard black dress and white apron they gave all the servers. Her hands shook slightly as she carried a tray of wine glasses. And there, at a table near the window, sat Ethan Walker. He wasn't alone. 3 other men in suits sat with him, all talking business. But when she approached the table, his eyes found hers immediately. "Good evening, gentlemen," she said, keeping her voice steady. "Can I start you with drinks?" The other men barely looked at her. They ordered wine and cocktails without glancing up from their phones. But Ethan waited until they were done, then said, "Water for me, please." "Thank you, Aaliyah." Her name in his mouth made something flutter in her chest. She nodded and hurried away to place their orders. When she returned with the drinks, Ethan made a point of thanking her, loudly, in front of everyone. "Thank you so much," he said, his voice carrying. "You've been incredibly helpful." The other men finally looked at her. One smiled politely. The others went back to their phones. Aaliyah wanted to disappear. She served their meals efficiently, professionally, didn't make eye contact with Ethan again, but she felt his gaze on her the whole time. As the dinner wound down and the other men headed to the bar, Ethan stayed at the table. He was signing the check when she came to clear the plates. "Aaliyah," he said softly. She couldn't ignore him. "Not here." "Yes, Mr. Walker?" "It's Ethan." He set down his pen. "And I wanted to apologize." That made her look at him. "For what?" "For costing you that interview. I've been thinking about it all week." "You didn't cost me anything. I made a choice. A generous choice." His eyes were so sincere, it hurt to look at them. Not many people would have stopped. "I'm sure that's not true." "It is true. Most people walk right past. They've got places to be, things to do." He leaned back slightly. "But you stopped, even though you were running late, even though it cost you something important." Aaliyah's throat felt tight. "It was just an umbrella. It was more than that." He paused, seeming to choose his words carefully. "Would you let me make it up to you? Maybe coffee sometime?" Her heart jumped, then immediately sank. Coffee, sure, because he felt guilty. "That's not necessary, Mr. Walker." "Ethan, that's not necessary," she repeated. "I don't need your pity." Something flickered across his face. "Is that what you think this is? What else would it be? How about gratitude? How about genuine interest in getting to know someone who showed me unexpected kindness?" The words hung between them. The restaurant was nearly empty now, just them and the soft jazz playing over the speakers. "I should get back to work," Aaliyah said quietly. She turned to leave, but his voice stopped her. "I'm not asking as a CEO," Ethan said. "I'm asking as a man who can't stop thinking about a woman with the most beautiful smile he's ever seen." Aaliyah's breath caught. She looked back at him. He stood now, hands in his pockets, looking nervous. Actually nervous. This confident, wealthy man looked worried she might say no. "I don't date guests," she managed. "Then it's good I'm checking out tomorrow." He smiled. "But I'm back in town next month. Would you consider it then? Just coffee. Just 2 people talking." Every logical part of her brain screamed no. This was a bad idea, a terrible idea. Men like him didn't date women like her. This was a recipe for heartbreak. But she heard herself say, Maybe. His smile widened. Maybe is better than no. It's not a yes either. I'll take what I can get. He pulled out his phone. Can I have your number? Just in case you change your mind. She shouldn't. She really, really shouldn't. Aaliyah took his phone and typed in her number anyway. I'm not promising anything, she warned. I'm not asking for promises, just a chance. She handed back his phone and walked away before she could do something stupid like smile at him. But as she pushed through the kitchen doors, she felt lighter than she had in days. Gloria caught her in the hallway, eyes twinkling. Girl, was that the CEO? Shut up. Did he just ask you out? Gloria, because it sure looked like he asked you out. Aaliyah couldn't help it. She grinned. Maybe he did. Gloria laughed and pulled her into a quick hug. About time something good happened to you. It's not good, it's probably a disaster waiting to happen. Or maybe it's the start of something real. Gloria squeezed her shoulder. Don't talk yourself out of it before it even begins. That night, lying in bed in the apartment she shared with her mother, Aaliyah stared at her phone. No messages. No calls. Maybe he'd changed his mind. Maybe he'd realized how ridiculous the whole thing was. CEO and Maid. It sounded like a bad romance novel. Then her phone lit up. Unknown number. This is Ethan. I hope it's okay I'm texting. I wanted to make sure I had the right number, and to say thank you again for this evening, for giving me a maybe. Sleep well, Aaliyah. She read it 3 times, then read it again. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She should probably wait. Play it cool, not seem too eager. She typed, It's okay. You have the right number. Good night, Ethan. His response came within seconds. Good night. Sweet dreams. Aaliyah set down her phone and stared at the ceiling, a smile playing at her lips. She was in so much trouble, and for the first time in a long time, she didn't entirely mind. 3 weeks passed before Ethan returned to the city. 3 weeks of text messages that started careful and formal, then slowly became warmer, longer, more personal. He told her about his company, tech investments mostly. Boring stuff, he said, but it paid the bills. She told him about her mother, about growing up in Queens, about her dream of maybe going back to school someday. They texted every day, sometimes just simple things. How was your day? Or, saw this and thought of you with a picture of a coffee shop cat. Nothing big, nothing scary. But each message made her smile a little wider. Marcia noticed. Of course she did. You're on that phone an awful lot lately, her mother said one evening, folding laundry in their tiny living room. Aaliyah looked up from her phone. Just texting a friend. Must be some friend. Got you grinning like that. Mama, I'm not saying it's bad. Marcia set down a towel and gave her daughter a long look. I'm saying be careful. You got a good heart, baby. Sometimes too good. And people can take advantage of that. Aaliyah thought about Ethan's messages. The way he asked real questions and listened to her answers. The way he never made her feel small or less than. I'm being careful, she promised. Good. Because you deserve someone who sees you for who you are, not just what you can do for them. The words stuck with Aaliyah long after her mother went to bed. What did Ethan see when he looked at her? A kind woman? A good person? Or just someone who made him feel better about himself? Her phone buzzed. Back in town tomorrow. Still up for that coffee? Her heart jumped. She'd almost convinced herself he'd forget, that the texts would stop and he'd disappear back into his fancy life. But here he was, asking. She typed back, maybe. 3 dots appeared immediately. Still maybe? I haven't earned a yes yet? You've earned a coffee, that's all I'm promising. I'll take it. Noon. There's a place near the hotel. Marco's. Know it? She did. Small Italian cafe, good espresso, reasonably priced. Not too fancy. Not trying too hard. I know it. See you there. Can't wait. 2 simple words. But they made her stomach flip. She was definitely in trouble. Aaliyah changed her outfit 4 times the next morning. Too dressy, too casual, trying too hard, not trying at all. She finally settled on jeans and a soft blue sweater. Simple, comfortable, her. Marcia watched from the doorway with knowing eyes but didn't comment. Marco's cafe was a 10-minute walk from the hotel. Aaliyah arrived 5 minutes early and immediately regretted it. Now she had to wait and look awkward. But then Ethan walked through the door and her nerves scattered like birds. He wore jeans too, and a grey sweater that made his eyes look silver in the afternoon light. His hair was slightly messy, like he'd rushed. When he spotted her at a corner table, his whole face lit up. Hi, he said, a little breathless. Hi. He sat down across from her, and suddenly the small table felt very small. She could smell his cologne, something clean and woodsy. "You came," he said. "You sound surprised." "Honestly? A little. I kept thinking you'd change your mind." "I almost did," she admitted. "Several times." "What stopped you?" She met his eyes. "Curiosity, mostly." He laughed, warm and genuine. "I'll take that too. Should we order?" They ordered coffee and pastries. The conversation started slow, a little stilted. But then Ethan asked about her favorite book, and she told him about the worn copy of Their Eyes Were Watching God she'd read a dozen times. He asked why she loved it, and she explained how Janie's journey felt real, messy and painful, and ultimately free. He listened, really listened, not just waiting for his turn to talk, but actually hearing her words. Then she asked about him, about his life. His smile faded slightly. "It's not as glamorous as people think. Try me." He stirred his coffee, choosing words. "I took over the company from my father 5 years ago. Since then I've worked 80-hour weeks trying to prove I deserved it, trying to prove I'm not just the boss's son." "Have you proved it?" "To everyone but myself, maybe." He looked up. "It's lonely, honestly. People want things from me. Investments, connections, access. Nobody just wants me." The raw honesty in his voice made her chest ache. "That sounds hard," she said softly. "It is." He paused. "That's why that day with the car meant something. You had no idea who I was. You just saw someone who needed help and stopped. No agenda, no angle. Most people would have done the same thing. You'd be surprised." His eyes found hers. "You're different, Aaliyah. In the best possible way." Heat crept up her neck. "You don't really know me. Then let me. That's all I'm asking." The words hung between them, heavy with possibility. "Why me?" The question slipped out before she could stop it. "You could have anyone, someone from your world, someone who fits." "Maybe I'm tired of people who fit." He leaned forward slightly. "Maybe I want someone real. I'm a maid, Ethan. You're a woman who showed me kindness when she had every reason not to, who's smart and funny, and has the most beautiful smile I've ever seen." His voice softened. "The rest is just details." Aaliyah's heart hammered. This was happening too fast. Feeling too much. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Of what?" "Of being someone's charity project. Of you waking up one day and realizing how different we are." "Hey." He reached across the table, stopping just short of touching her hand. "I'm scared too. I'm terrified you'll look at me and only see dollar signs, or that you'll get tired of people judging you for being with me." She hadn't thought about that. The stares, the whispers, the assumptions. "But I think," Ethan continued, "that maybe we're both worth the risk." She looked at his hand on the table, so close to hers. All she had to do was reach out. "Okay," she breathed. "Okay? Okay, let's try. Slow, no promises, just see what happens." His smile could have lit the whole cafe. "Slow is good. I can do slow." He finally closed the distance and took her hand. His palm was warm, his fingers gentle. The touch sent electricity up her arm. They talked for 2 more hours. About everything and nothing. Her childhood in Queens, his in Connecticut, her mother's strength, his complicated relationship with his younger brother, dreams they'd had as kids, fears they carried now. By the time they left Marco's, the sun was setting, and Aaliyah felt like she'd known him for years instead of weeks. Ethan walked her toward the subway station, his hands in his pockets, shoulders relaxed in a way she hadn't seen before. "Can I see you again?" he asked when they reached the entrance. "You better," she said, surprising herself with the boldness. He grinned. "Tomorrow? I work until 6. Dinner then. Nothing fancy, I promise." "Okay." He hesitated, then leaned down and kissed her cheek, soft and quick. "Good night, Aaliyah." She touched her cheek after he walked away, standing there like an idiot with a dopey smile on her face. Gloria was going to have a field day with this. The next 2 weeks felt like living in a dream. Ethan stayed in the city on business. Though Aaliyah suspected he extended his trip just to see her, they met for coffee before her shifts, quick lunches on her breaks, dinners at small restaurants where nobody knew him. He made her laugh, really laugh, the kind that made her stomach hurt and her eyes water. He asked about her day and genuinely cared about the answer. When she complained about a rude guest, he got protective. When she talked about her mother, he listened with respect. And slowly, carefully, she let her walls come down. But not everyone was happy. "You're glowing," Gloria said one afternoon, watching Aaliyah practically float through their shift. "But I'm worried, honey." "Why?" "It's going well." "That's what worries me. Men like him." Gloria paused, choosing words carefully. "They live in a different world, And sometimes, when they're done visiting ours, they go back home. Ethan's not like that. I hope not, baby, I really do. Just protect your heart a little, okay? Aaliyah wanted to argue, but she knew Gloria meant well, and deep down, a small part of her wondered the same thing. How long before Ethan got bored? How long before reality crashed in? That evening, those thoughts were still swirling when she met Ethan outside the hotel. He'd texted earlier saying he wanted to show her something. "Where are we going?" she asked as they walked. "You'll see." He led her through the city streets as the sun set, painting everything gold and pink. They passed her usual subway stop, kept going until they reached the Riverside Park. "Come on," he said, taking her hand. They walked along the water until they found an empty bench overlooking the skyline. The city lights were just starting to twinkle on. "I used to come here when I first moved to the city," Ethan said softly, "when I felt overwhelmed. It helped me remember why I was doing all of it." "Why were you doing it?" "Honestly, to prove something to my father, to my brother, to myself." He looked at her. "But lately I've been wondering if I was proving the wrong things." "What do you mean?" "I built this whole life around success, money, power, but I forgot to build anything that actually mattered." His thumb traced circles on the back of her hand. "Until I met someone who reminded me what matters." Aaliyah's breath caught. "Ethan, I know it's fast. I know we're still figuring this out, but you make me want to be better. Not richer or more successful, just better." She didn't know what to say. Her heart was too full for words, so she leaned her head on his shoulder instead. They sat like that as the sky darkened and the city came alive with light. Just two people on a bench, holding hands, letting themselves hope. "Can I tell you something?" Aaliyah said quietly. "Anything. I've been scared to want this, to want you, because I've never had something that felt this good, and I keep waiting for it to fall apart." "I'm scared too," he admitted. "Every woman I've dated since taking over the company, they wanted what I could give them. Not me. And I'm terrified of being that stupid again." She sat up to look at him. "I don't want your money, Ethan. I know that's what terrifies me more." "Why?" "Because if you're not here for the money, then you're here for me. Just me. And I don't know if I'm enough." The vulnerability in his voice cracked her heart open. "You're enough," she whispered. "You're more than enough." He cupped her face in his hands, thumbs brushing her cheeks. "Can I kiss you?" She nodded, not trusting her voice. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to change her mind. But she didn't want to. She wanted this, wanted him, more than she'd wanted anything in a long time. His lips touched hers, soft and careful, like she was something precious, something worth protecting. She kissed him back, and it felt like coming home. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, Ethan rested his forehead against hers. "Wow," he breathed. "Yeah," she agreed. They stayed at the park until the night grew cold. Then Ethan walked her to the subway, kissed her goodnight, and made her promise to text when she got home safe. Aaliyah floated the whole way back to Queens. Marcia was still up when she got home, watching her evening shows. "You're late," she said without looking away from the TV. "I know, sorry. And you're grinning like a fool." Aaliyah couldn't help it. "Maybe I am." Marcia muted the TV and turned to face her daughter. "It's that man, isn't it? The one you've been texting?" "No point in lying. His name is Ethan." "And what does Ethan do?" "He's in business." "What kind of business?" "Tech investments." Marcia's eyes narrowed. "So he's rich." "Mama, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying be careful, baby. Rich men and poor women. That story usually ends one way. It's not like that. He's different. They're all different until they're not." Marcia's voice softened. "I just don't want to see you hurt. You're my baby girl, my only child. I've watched you work yourself to the bone in that hotel, and you deserve someone who sees your worth. All of it." "He does see it, Mama. Then he better treat you right, or he'll have me to answer to." Despite everything, Aaliyah smiled. "I'll tell him." "You do that." Marcia unmuted the TV but added, "I'm happy you're happy, baby. Just don't lose yourself in someone else, okay?" "I won't." But as Aaliyah lay in bed that night, her mother's words echoed. "Don't lose yourself." She pulled out her phone and looked at Ethan's last text. "Thinking about you, can't wait for tomorrow." She typed back, "Me too. Good night," and tried not to think about how much it would hurt if this all fell apart. The next afternoon, everything changed. Aaliyah was finishing her shift when a man approached her in the hotel lobby. Tall, dark hair like Ethan's, but sharper features. Cold eyes that assessed her like a problem to solve. "You're Aaliyah James," he said, not a question. "Yes, can I help you?" "I'm Noah Walker, Ethan's brother." Her stomach dropped. "Oh, It's nice to meet you. Is it? His smile didn't reach his eyes. Let's cut through the pleasantries. What do you want from my brother? Excuse me. You heard me. You're a maid. He's a CEO. Those worlds don't mix. So what's your angle? Money, a better job, a ticket out of your life. Anger flared hot in her chest. I don't have an angle. Everyone has an angle, especially with Ethan. He's too trusting, too kind, and people like you take advantage of that. You don't know anything about me. I know enough. I know you gave him some sob story about missing an interview. I know you've been seeing him for 2 weeks. I know my brother has been hurt before by women who pretended to care. Noah stepped closer, voice dropping. So I'm warning you, if you hurt him, if you use him, you'll regret it. I would never save it. I've heard it before. He turned to leave, then stopped. One more thing. He's leaving for New York in a few days. Permanently. Has he told you that? Aaliyah's blood went cold. What? His business here is done. Whatever this is, it has an expiration date. So take whatever you're getting from him and walk away clean. It'll be easier for everyone. He left her standing there, shaking with rage and confusion and hurt. Ethan was leaving? For good? Why hadn't he told her? Her phone buzzed. Speak of the devil. Dinner tonight? I have something I want to talk to you about. Her hands trembled as she typed back, I can't. Something came up. Sorry. She turned off her phone before he could respond. Gloria found her in the locker room 10 minutes later, sitting on the bench with her head in her hands. What happened? His brother came by, said some things. What kind of things? That I'm using Ethan, that I'm just after his money, that he's leaving soon and didn't tell me. Oh, honey? Gloria sat beside her. Did Ethan say he was leaving? He said he wanted to talk tonight. Probably about that. So talk to him. Let him explain. What's to explain? He's going back to his real life, and I was just, what, a vacation, a distraction. You don't know that. His brother seems pretty sure. Gloria took her hands. Brothers can be protective. Doesn't mean they're right. Talk to Ethan. Give him a chance to tell his side. But Aaliyah's heart felt like lead. All her fears were coming true. Of course it wasn't real. Of course he was leaving. Men like him didn't stay for women like her. She went home without turning her phone back on. Marcia knew something was wrong immediately but didn't push. She made Aaliyah's favorite dinner and let her eat in silence. It wasn't until Aaliyah was getting ready for bed that someone knocked on their apartment door. Marcia answered it. Aaliyah heard a man's voice. Familiar. Worried. Is Aaliyah home? Please. I just need to talk to her. Ethan. Her mother's voice. Protective. She doesn't want to see anyone right now. Please. I think there's been a misunderstanding. My brother, he said something to her, didn't he? Silence. Then, I'll ask her. Marcia came to Aaliyah's bedroom door. There's a very worried rich man in my hallway asking for you. Tell him to leave. Aaliyah, tell him to leave, Mama. Please. Her mother sighed but went back. Aaliyah heard the door close, heard muffled voices, then silence. She curled up in bed and finally let herself cry. Her phone, back on now, lit up with messages. Please talk to me. I don't know what Noah said, but I can explain. Aaliyah, please. I'm not leaving. Not without talking to you first. She turned the phone face down and closed her eyes, but sleep didn't come. Just the echo of Noah's words and the feeling that she'd been stupid to believe in fairy tales. Rich men and poor women. That story usually ends one way. Her mother had been right all along. Morning came too early and too grey. Aaliyah dragged herself to work, eyes puffy from crying. She'd barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Noah's cold stare and heard his words. People like you take advantage. Gloria took one look at her and pulled her aside. Did you talk to him? He came by last night. I didn't see him. Aaliyah, I can't. Gloria, I can't hear him say it's over. I can't watch him leave. Her voice cracked. It's easier this way. Easier for who? Because you look miserable, and I bet he does too. But Aaliyah just shook her head and grabbed her cart. She kept to the lower floors all morning, avoided anywhere Ethan might be. But around noon, her supervisor called her to cover a private event on the 15th floor. We need extra staff for the Walker Group meeting, he said. Just refreshments. In and out. Her heart sank. Can't someone else? You're the only one available. It's just an hour. She had no choice. The conference room was elegant and cold. 20 people in expensive suits sat around a long table. She recognized a few hotel executives, and at the head of the table, looking tired and tense, was Ethan. Their eyes met across the room. His whole face changed. Relief and hurt and hope all mixed together. She looked away and focused on pouring water, refreshing coffee. Being invisible. That's what good staff did, blended into the background. The meeting droned on. Business talk she didn't understand, numbers and projections and market shares. She was refilling a water pitcher at the side table when she heard Noah's voice. "I still think you're making a mistake, staying in the city." Aaliyah froze. "It's not a mistake," Ethan said quietly. "I told you. You told me you're staying for a girl you've known for 2 weeks. Noah's voice was low but sharp. "Come on, Ethan. Think clearly. This isn't you. Maybe it is me. Maybe I'm tired of living the life everyone else planned. Or maybe you're being reckless, again, like with Victoria." The room went quiet. Aaliyah's hands shook, water sloshing in the pitcher. "That's not fair," Ethan said, voice tight. "Isn't it? Victoria said she loved you too, right up until she got what she wanted and left. Aaliyah is nothing like Victoria. How do you know? You barely know her." "I know enough." "Do you? Or are you just lonely and she's convenient?" The words hit Aaliyah like a punch to the gut. Convenient, just something to fill his empty spaces. She set down the pitcher with shaking hands and walked out. Nobody noticed. Nobody cared. She was just staff. She made it to the service elevator before the tears came, pressed herself into the corner, and tried to breathe through the pain crushing her chest. He doubted her. Maybe didn't say it out loud, but he let his brother plant the seeds. Let Noah call her convenient. Let him compare her to some woman who used him. The elevator stopped on the 10th floor. Gloria got on, took one look at her, and hit the emergency stop button. "What happened?" "You were right, it's over, it was never real." "Aaliyah, he's staying in the city for me. Did you know that? Changing his whole life for someone he barely knows, and his brother thinks I'm using him. And maybe he's right, maybe I am just convenient." "Stop," Gloria grabbed her shoulders. "Listen to me. That man looks at you like you hung the moon. Whatever you heard up there, I heard enough." Aaliyah wiped her eyes. "I heard him doubt. I heard him compare me to someone else, and I heard his brother say what everyone's probably thinking, that I don't belong in his world. Does he get a chance to explain?" "Explain what? That I'm not worth the trouble, that staying here is a mistake." Gloria sighed and restarted the elevator. "You're hurt. I get it. But don't make decisions when you're hurt. Give it time." But time didn't help. The rest of her shift dragged like pulling teeth. Every corner she turned, she expected to see Ethan. Every time her phone buzzed, her heart jumped. But he didn't come, didn't call. Maybe he'd realized Noah was right. She was heading to the locker room when she heard footsteps behind her. "Aaliyah, please." Ethan's voice, rough and desperate. She stopped but didn't turn around. "I need to explain," he said. "What Noah said." "I heard what he said. And I heard what you didn't say." "What does that mean?" She finally faced him. He looked awful. Hair messy, tie loose, eyes red-rimmed. "You let him talk about me like that. Call me convenient. Compare me to some woman who hurt you. I was trying to defend you. Were you? Because it sounded like he had a point." Ethan stepped closer. They were alone in the service hallway, surrounded by concrete walls and fluorescent lights, his world and hers meeting in the middle. "Noah is scared," Ethan said carefully. "He watched Victoria take advantage of me. He's protective. So he gets to insult me? Call me a user? No, he was wrong. I told him that. After I left. After I heard him call me convenient and you didn't shut it down. I was going to... But you didn't." Her voice cracked. "And maybe he's right. Maybe you are making a mistake. Maybe we're both fooling ourselves thinking this could work." "Don't do this." His voice broke. "Don't let him win. Don't let doubt destroy something real." "How do I know it's real?" The words burst out. "You're leaving New York, changing your life, for someone you've known for 2 weeks. That's not real, Ethan. That's infatuation. That's love." He said it so quietly she almost missed it. "It's love, Aaliyah." The air left her lungs. "I love you," he continued, stepping closer. "I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. But I love you. The way you light up when you laugh. The way you care about people. The way you see me. Not my money or my name, just me." Tears streamed down her face. "You don't know me. Then let me. Let me spend every day learning. Let me prove this is real." "I can't." The words tore out of her. "I can't be the reason you throw away your life. I can't be the convenient girl who fills your empty spaces. I can't." "You're not convenient," he said fiercely. "You're everything. I'm a maid, Ethan. I clean toilets and fold towels. Your brother is right, we don't fit. I don't care about fitting, I care about you. You say that now, but eventually you'll wake up. You'll see how different we are, how much I don't belong in your world. And you'll resent me for making you stay. That's not true, isn't it? Your brother already hates me. What about your friends, your business partners? How long before you get tired of explaining me? Aaliyah, I don't belong in your world, and you don't belong in mine. We were stupid to think we could make this work. Silence fell between them, heavy and final. Ethan's face crumpled. So that's it? You're giving up? I'm being realistic. You're being scared. His voice hardened. You're so terrified of being hurt that you're walking away first. The truth of it stung. Maybe I am, but at least this way I'm protecting myself. From what? From being happy? From taking a chance on something real? From being destroyed when you finally see I'm not enough? The words hung in the air, raw and ugly and true. Ethan stared at her, eyes shining with unshed tears. You really believe that? That you're not enough? She couldn't answer, couldn't speak past the lump in her throat. Then I've already lost you, he said quietly, because I can't fix what you won't believe. He turned and walked away. Aaliyah stood there, shaking, watching him disappear around the corner. Every instinct screamed at her to run after him, to take it back, to believe in the fairy tale. But fairy tales weren't real, and happy endings didn't happen to girls like her. She made it to the locker room before she collapsed on the bench, sobbing. Gloria found her there 20 minutes later. He's gone, Aaliyah choked out. He left. Gloria didn't say I told you so. She just sat down and held her while she cried. That night was the longest of Aaliyah's life. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every word, every look, every moment she could have chosen differently. Her phone sat silent on the nightstand. No calls, no texts. He'd given up, just like she knew he would, except it didn't feel like victory. It felt like drowning. Marcia knocked softly around midnight. Baby, you awake? Yeah. Her mother came in and sat on the edge of the bed. Want to talk about it? There's nothing to say, it's over. Gloria called me, told me what happened. Of course she did. Gloria worried like a mother hen. Then you know I did the right thing, Aaliyah said. Did you? Marcia's voice was gentle. Or did you do the safe thing? They're the same thing. No, baby, they're not. Her mother took her hand. The safe thing is staying small, never risking, never hoping. The right thing is being brave enough to try. He was going to leave his whole life for me, Mama. That's not love, that's a man making a choice you didn't let him make. Aaliyah sat up, confusion and anger warring in her chest. You told me to be careful. You warned me about rich men. I warned you to protect your heart, not to lock it away forever. Marcia squeezed her hand. I've watched you build walls for years, baby, after your daddy left. After all those boys who didn't see your worth, you got so good at protecting yourself that you forgot how to let anyone in. I let Ethan in. Did you? Or did you keep one foot out the door the whole time, waiting for him to leave? The words hit too close to home. I've been where you are, Marcia continued softly. After your daddy walked out, I swore I'd never trust another man, never risk that pain again. And you know what? I kept that promise. 20 years, and I'm still alone, still safe, still scared. Aaliyah had never heard her mother talk like this. Mama, don't make my mistakes, baby. Don't let fear steal your chance at real love. But what if Noah's right? What if I'm just convenient? What does your heart say? Aaliyah closed her eyes. Her heart said Ethan was real. Her heart said his smile was genuine. His kisses were honest. His love was true. But her head said hearts were wrong all the time. I don't know, she whispered. Marcia kissed her forehead. Then sleep on it. Answers look different in daylight. But sleep didn't come. Aaliyah tossed and turned, her mind replaying Ethan's broken expression. Then, I've already lost you. Around 2 in the morning, she grabbed her phone. 53 unread messages, but none from Ethan. Most were from Gloria checking in. A few from co-workers who'd heard something happened. One from her cousin in Atlanta. She scrolled through them numbly, then stopped. There was one from an unknown number sent hours ago. She opened it. This is Noah Walker. We need to talk. Tomorrow 10 a.m. Marco's Cafe. Please come. Her first instinct was to delete it. But something in the message's tone, not demanding, almost pleading, made her hesitate. What could Noah possibly have to say that would change anything? She typed back, "Why?" The response came within seconds, like he'd been waiting. "Because I was wrong, and my brother is destroying himself right now. Please." Her heart clenched. She should ignore it, should block the number and move on. But her fingers typed, "Fine, 10 a.m. She regretted it immediately, but the message was sent. Aaliyah set down her phone and stared at the ceiling until pale light crept through her window. Morning came grey and cold. She dressed mechanically, told her mother she had an errand to run, and walked to Marco's in a daze. Noah was already there, sitting at a back table. He looked different from their first meeting, less polished, more tired. His shirt was wrinkled, his tie missing. He stood when he saw her. "Thank you for coming." She sat down without responding. He sat too, hands wrapped around a coffee cup. For a long moment, he just looked at her. "I owe you an apology," he finally said. "Okay. I was a complete ass. I said terrible things. I made assumptions about you without knowing anything." "Why?" The question came out harder than she meant. "Why did you hate me on sight?" Noah sighed, looking down at his coffee. "Because 2 years ago Ethan dated a woman named Victoria. She was beautiful, charming, everything he thought he wanted. She told him she loved him, moved into his apartment, talked about marriage." He paused, jaw tight. "Then she emptied his bank account and disappeared. Turned out she had a boyfriend the whole time. They'd been running cons on wealthy men for years." Aaliyah's stomach turned. "That's awful." It broke him. Not the money, he could replace that, but the trust, the love. She made him believe he was worth loving, then proved she'd been lying the whole time. "So you thought I was doing the same thing?" "I thought I was protecting him." Noah met her eyes. "But I was wrong. I saw it last night." "Saw what?" "Him. Completely destroyed. He didn't go to his suite. He went to a bar, drank until the bartender cut him off. Then he sat there crying about how he'd finally found something real and lost it." Pain lanced through Aaliyah's chest. "He was drunk. People say things. He said your name like a prayer, over and over, talking about your smile, your kindness, how you made him believe in love again." Noah's voice roughened. "He's not infatuated, Aaliyah. He's destroyed. And I did that. I made you doubt him." Tears pricked her eyes. "He compared me to her, Victoria. No, I compared you to her. And he shut me down. You just left before you heard it." The words hit like a freight train. "What?" "He told me to get out. Said you were nothing like Victoria. That you were real and honest and the best thing that ever happened to him. That if I couldn't see that, I could leave." Aaliyah couldn't breathe. "He said that?" "Word for word. Then he went after you, begged you to listen. And you—" Noah stopped. "You broke his heart." The truth crashed over her. She'd run. She'd assumed the worst. She'd been so scared of being hurt that she'd hurt him instead. "Oh God," she whispered. "What did I do?" "You protected yourself," Noah said quietly. "I understand that. But he loves you. Really loves you. And I've never seen him like this. Not even with Victoria." "Where is he now?" "His suite. He's leaving today. Flying back to New York." "Today?" "Noon flight. He said there's no reason to stay." Aaliyah looked at her phone. 10:47 a.m. She had just over an hour. She stood up so fast her chair scraped. "I have to go." "Wait." Noah stood too. "For what it's worth, I think you're good for him. I think you make him happy in a way nothing else does. And I'm sorry I almost destroyed that." She nodded, already heading for the door. "Aaliyah," Noah called. She turned back. "He's in suite 1502. Same one where you met. Full circle, just like fate intended." She ran. Aaliyah ran the 6 blocks to the Grand Meridian, like her life depended on it. Maybe it did. Her lungs burned. Her feet ached. People stared as she pushed past them on the crowded sidewalk. She didn't care. She had to get there, had to tell him, had to make this right. The hotel loomed ahead, all glass and marble and everything she'd once thought she couldn't have. She burst through the revolving doors, breathless and sweating. Jessica looked up from the front desk with her usual judgment. "Ma'am, you can't—" "I'm staff," Aaliyah gasped, flashing her employee badge as she ran past. She bypassed the guest elevators and took the service entrance. Her hands shook as she pressed the button for the 15th floor. "Come on, come on." The elevator climbed with agonizing slowness. She checked her phone. 11:03. Less than an hour until his flight. Less than an hour to fix the biggest mistake of her life. The doors finally opened. She ran down the hallway, her shoes squeaking on the plush carpet. Suite 1502. The door where everything had started. She raised her hand to knock, then hesitated. What if he wouldn't listen? What if she'd hurt him too badly? What if— No, no more what-ifs. No more running scared. She knocked. Silence. She knocked again, harder. "Ethan, it's me. Please." Nothing. Panic seized her chest. Was he already gone? Had she waited too long? She tried the handle. Locked. "Ethan!" She pounded on the door. "Please, I need to talk to you. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Please, just—" The door opened. Ethan stood there in wrinkled clothes, hair a mess, eyes red and hollow. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. He looked at her like she was a ghost. "Aaliyah." His voice was rough, broken. "Can I come in?" He stepped back wordlessly. She walked into the suite, the same suite where they'd first recognized each other, where this whole impossible story had begun. Suitcases sat by the door, zipped and ready. The room was stripped of anything personal. Just a hotel suite again, not a home. Ethan closed the door and stood with his back to it, arms crossed like he was protecting himself. "What are you doing here?" "I talked to Noah." Something flickered in his eyes. "What did he say?" "The truth, that I left before I heard you defend me, that you told him I was nothing like Victoria, that I—" Her voice cracked, "that I broke your heart." Ethan looked away, jaw tight. "He shouldn't have told you that. I'm glad he did, because I needed to hear it. I needed to know that I was wrong." "Wrong about what?" "About you, about us, about everything." She stepped closer, hands trembling. "I was so scared, Ethan, so terrified of being hurt, that I convinced myself you couldn't really love me, that it was too fast, too different, too impossible." "It is impossible," he said quietly. "I see that now. Noah was right. You were right. We're from different worlds." "No." She closed the distance between them. "We're from the same world. The one where people are scared and lonely and looking for something real. The one where kindness matters more than money. The one where love is possible if we're brave enough to believe in it. You didn't believe in it yesterday. I was scared yesterday. I'm terrified today, but I'm here anyway." He finally looked at her, and the pain in his eyes nearly broke her. "Why?" "Because I love you." The words hung in the air. Simple, true, terrifying. Ethan's breath caught. "You don't mean that." "I do. I love you, Ethan Walker. I love how you listen when I talk, how you make me laugh, how you see me, really see me, not just what I do for a living. I love that you're scared too, that you doubt yourself even though you've accomplished so much. I love that you wanted to change your whole life for me, even though I was too stupid to let you." Tears spilled down his cheeks. "Aaliyah, I was wrong," she continued, her own tears falling freely now. "Wrong to run, wrong to doubt you, wrong to let fear control me, and I'm so sorry." For a moment he just stared at her. Then he crossed the space between them in 2 strides and pulled her into his arms. She wrapped herself around him, holding tight like he might disappear. "I thought I lost you," he whispered into her hair. "I thought I'd finally found something real and destroyed it." "You didn't destroy anything." "I did, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." He pulled back just enough to cup her face in his hands. His thumbs wiped away her tears. "I love you, God, Aaliyah, I love you so much it scares me. I know, it scares me too. I don't care that we're different. I don't care what anyone thinks. I just want you. You have me." She pressed her forehead to his. "I'm yours if you'll still have me after I was such an idiot." He laughed through his tears. "You weren't an idiot, you were scared. I get that. Your brother called me convenient." "My brother is an overprotective ass who learned his lesson." Ethan's hands tightened on her face. "You're not convenient. You're essential. You're everything I didn't know I needed. Even though I clean toilets for a living? Especially because of that. You work hard, you're humble, you care about people. Those are the things that matter. What about your friends? Your business partners? They'll judge. Let them. Anyone who can't see how incredible you are isn't worth my time. What about New York, your company? I'll figure it out. I can work remotely, or open an office here, or honestly, I don't care, as long as I'm with you. You'd really do that? Aaliyah." He looked at her intently. "I spent 5 years building an empire, and I've been miserable the whole time. Then I met you, and for the first time I felt alive, really alive. So yes, I'd give up everything, because you're worth more than all of it." She kissed him, poured everything into it, her fear, her hope, her love. He kissed her back like she was oxygen and he'd been drowning. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Aaliyah whispered, "Don't get on that plane. I already cancelled it." "What?" "Last night, after you left. I couldn't go back to New York, not without you. So I called and cancelled everything. Told them I was staying indefinitely. But your meeting was about opening a New York satellite office here, permanently. I'd been planning it for weeks. That's what I wanted to tell you at dinner." Joy burst through her chest like sunshine. "You were staying anyway. I was staying anyway, because you're here, and wherever you are is where I want to be." She laughed and cried at the same time, pulling him close again. "We're both idiots. The best kind of idiots." He kissed her forehead. "The kind who are completely impossibly in love. They stood there holding each other as morning light streamed through the windows. The city stretched out below them. Her city, now their city. What happens now? She asked softly. Now we figure it out. Together. No more running. No more doubting. I'm still scared. Me too. But I'd rather be scared with you than safe without you. She pulled back to look at him. Your brother thinks I'm good for you. He told you that. At the cafe. He apologized. Said he'd never seen you so happy. He's right. I've never been this happy. Ethan tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I've spent my whole life chasing success, but you showed me what actually matters. What's that? Connection, kindness, love, the simple things that make life worth living. You make me believe I deserve good things, Aaliyah admitted. I've spent so long feeling less than, like I wasn't enough because of my job or my background, but when you look at me, I feel like I'm everything. You are everything. Someone knocked on the door. They both jumped. Ethan went to answer it. Noah stood in the hallway, looking uncertain. Is she here? He asked. Her phone's going to voicemail, and I wanted to make sure. He saw Aaliyah and relief flooded his face. Oh, thank God. I was worried you didn't make it in time. I made it, she said softly. Noah looked between them, taking in their tear-stained faces and interlocked hands. So you two figured it out? We figured it out, Ethan confirmed. Good, because I really didn't want to be responsible for ruining my brother's life. Noah turned to Aaliyah. I meant what I said at the cafe. I was wrong about you, and I'm sorry. It's okay. You were protecting him. I understand that. Still, I was a jerk, and if you're willing to give me another chance, I'd like to try being a decent brother-in-law. Brother-in-law? Aaliyah's eyes went wide. Noah grinned. Too soon? Way too soon, Ethan said, but he was smiling. But accurate eventually. Aaliyah's heart did a backflip. Noah clapped Ethan on the shoulder. I'm glad you're happy, really glad. And Aaliyah, welcome to the family. He left, closing the door behind him. Aaliyah stared at Ethan. Brother-in-law? Like I said, eventually. He pulled her close again. When you're ready. No pressure. We'll take it slow. You said you wanted slow. I lied. I want everything. But I'll wait as long as you need. She kissed him. Slow and deep and full of promise. I should probably call my mum, she said when they finally came up for air. She's going to want to know what happened. Does she hate me? She doesn't hate you. She's just protective, like Noah. Can I meet her? Properly, I mean. Not through a door at 2 a.m. You want to meet my mother. I want to meet everyone who matters to you. I want them to know I'm serious about this, about us. Aaliyah's phone buzzed. She pulled it out to see a text from Marcia. Gloria called. Said you ran out like your hair was on fire. You okay, baby? She typed back. Better than okay. I fixed it. I love you, Mama. The response came immediately. Good. Bring him for dinner tonight. I need to make sure he's good enough for my girl. Aaliyah laughed and showed Ethan the message. He paled slightly. Tonight? Scared? Terrified. Meeting the mother is serious. So is telling someone you love them within 2 weeks of meeting them. Fair point. He took a deep breath. Okay. I'll meet her. I'll meet anyone. I'll do anything to prove I'm in this for real. Just be yourself. That's all she needs to see. That evening, Aaliyah brought Ethan to her apartment in Queens. The building was old, paint peeling, stairs creaky. Nothing like the luxury he was used to. She felt self-conscious as they climbed to the 3rd floor, but Ethan held her hand tight and didn't seem to notice. Marcia opened the door before Aaliyah could knock. She'd put on her good dress and done her hair. The apartment smelled like her famous pot roast. Mama, this is Ethan. Ethan, my mother, Marcia. Marcia looked Ethan up and down with sharp eyes. He shifted nervously. Then she smiled. Come in, both of you. Dinner's almost ready. The apartment was tiny but warm. Photos on every surface. Quilts Marcia had made draped over worn furniture. Home in every sense of the word. They sat at the small kitchen table. Marcia served pot roast and potatoes and green beans. Simple food, but made with love. So, Marcia said once they'd all started eating, you're the man who's got my daughter running through the streets crying. Mama, let me finish. Marcia turned her full attention to Ethan. I've watched this girl work herself to the bone for years. Watched her put everyone else first and herself last. Watched her build walls so high nobody could climb them. Ethan set down his fork. Mrs. James, you knocked down those walls. Made her believe she deserved good things. Made her happy. Marcia's voice softened. But you also broke her heart. So before I welcome you into this family, I need to know it won't happen again. It won't, Ethan said firmly. I love your daughter, Mrs. James. more than I knew it was possible to love someone. And I know we're from different worlds, I know people will judge, but I don't care about any of that, I just care about her. Pretty words. But words are easy. You're right, so let me prove it with actions. I'm staying in the city, opening an office here, building a life here, because this is where Aaliyah is and she's more important than anything else. Marcia studied him for a long moment. Then she looked at her daughter. You love him. I do, Mama. He treats you right, respects you? He treats me like I'm the most important person in the world. Good. Marcia turned back to Ethan. You hurt her again. You'll answer to me. Understood? Yes, ma'am. And I don't care how much money you have. In this house, you help with dishes. Ethan smiled. I can do that. Marcia finally smiled back. Then welcome to the family, Ethan. Now eat. You look like you haven't had a proper meal in weeks. The rest of dinner was warm and easy. Marcia told embarrassing stories about Aaliyah as a kid. Ethan shared about growing up with Noah. They laughed and talked until the food was gone and the dishes were washed, with Ethan helping, as promised. As they were leaving, Marcia pulled Aaliyah aside. He's a good one, baby. I can see it in his eyes. He looks at you like you're everything. He is good, Mama. Really good. Then don't let fear steal this. Don't make my mistakes. Take the risk. Take the leap. She kissed her daughter's forehead. And be happy, you deserve it. Aaliyah hugged her mother tight. Thank you. Outside, walking toward the subway, Ethan pulled Aaliyah close. Your mom is terrifying. She liked you. How can you tell? She let you help with dishes, that's her seal of approval. He laughed and kissed the top of her head. Where to now? You're sweet. We could watch a movie. Just be together. Perfect. They took the subway back into the city, sitting close on the plastic seats. Nobody looked at them twice. Just another couple in love, taking the train home. At the hotel, Aaliyah walked through the lobby with her head high. She didn't hide, didn't duck her head when other staff looked at her. She was with Ethan and she wasn't ashamed. In the suite, they curled up on the couch with a movie neither of them watched. They talked instead, about dreams and fears and everything in between. Can I ask you something? Aaliyah said softly. Anything. What happened with Victoria really happened. Ethan tensed, then relaxed. We met at a charity event. She was beautiful and charming, and seemed to really see me. We dated for 6 months. She moved in. I gave her access to my accounts because I trusted her. He paused, jaw tight. Then one day I came home and she was gone. Took almost $2 million with her. The police found out she'd been running cons with her boyfriend for years. They targeted wealthy men, gained their trust, and disappeared. I'm sorry. The money didn't matter. But the betrayal, he looked at her. I stopped trusting anyone after that. Stopped believing anyone could love me for me until you. I'm not her. I know. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm risking everything. He cupped her face gently. You're real, Aaliyah. Everything about you is real. And that's worth more than all the money in the world. She kissed him softly. I love you. I love you too. They fell asleep on the couch, wrapped in each other's arms, both finally believing they deserved this happiness. 3 weeks later, Ethan invited Aaliyah to a company event at the hotel. It's the opening of our new city office, he explained. All the important people will be there. Investors, partners, local business leaders. Sounds fancy. It is. And I want you there. With me. Officially. Her stomach fluttered. As your girlfriend? As the woman I love. The woman everyone needs to know is the most important person in my life. Ethan. I know it's public. I know people will talk. But I'm tired of hiding how I feel. I want everyone to know you're mine and I'm yours. She thought about it. The whispers, the stares, the judgments. Then she thought about Ethan's smile, his kindness, his love. Okay, she said. I'll go. Yeah. Let them talk. I don't care anymore. He kissed her, grinning. Have I mentioned I love you? Once or twice. The night of the event, Gloria helped Aaliyah get ready. She'd bought a dress, deep blue, simple but elegant. Nothing too fancy. Just herself, elevated. You look beautiful, Gloria said, adjusting the neckline. I'm nervous. You should be. This is a big deal. But you've got this, honey. Just remember, you belong there, not because of him, because of you. Aaliyah hugged her friend. Thank you. For everything. That's what family does. Ethan picked her up at 7, looking stunning in a dark suit. His eyes went wide when he saw her. Wow. Too much? Not even close. You're perfect. They walked into the ballroom together, hand in hand. The room was full of people in expensive clothes, holding champagne glasses. networking and schmoozing. Aaliyah recognized some hotel staff working the event. They stared when they saw her with Ethan. Let them stare. Ethan kept her close, introducing her to everyone. This is Aaliyah James, my girlfriend. Not friend, not companion, girlfriend. Some people smiled warmly. Others looked surprised. A few whispered behind their hands. Aaliyah held her head high. Noah approached with a woman on his arm. Aaliyah, you look amazing. Thanks, Noah. This is my girlfriend, Jennifer. Jen, this is Aaliyah, the woman who finally made my brother human. Jennifer laughed. Nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you. They chatted easily. Jennifer was a lawyer, smart and funny and warm. She treated Aaliyah like an equal, not a curiosity. More people approached. Some were kind, others were cold. But Ethan never left her side, never let anyone make her feel small. Then the speeches started. Local officials welcomed the new office. Business leaders talked about economic growth and opportunity. Finally, Ethan took the stage. Thank you all for coming, he said, his voice carrying through the room. This office represents a new chapter for Walker Investments. But more than that, it represents a personal new chapter for me. He looked directly at Aaliyah. 6 weeks ago, I was in this city for a routine meeting. My car broke down and I thought my day was ruined. But then a woman stopped to help me. She gave me her umbrella and ran off into the rain. She had somewhere important to be, but she chose kindness anyway. The room was silent, everyone listening. That woman is here tonight, Aaliyah James. She works at this hotel in housekeeping, and she's the reason I'm standing here, the reason I chose to build a life in this city, the reason I remember what actually matters. Aaliyah's eyes filled with tears. I've spent my career chasing success, Ethan continued, building wealth, making deals, but I forgot to build anything that mattered until Aaliyah reminded me. She reminded me that kindness is worth more than money, that love is worth more than power, that being real is worth more than being perfect. He stepped down from the stage and walked directly to her, took her hand in front of everyone. So, this is me, being real, telling everyone in this room that this woman is the most important thing in my life, that I'm proud to be with her, that anyone who has a problem with that can leave. Nobody left. Instead, people started clapping. It started slow, then built. Soon the whole room was applauding. Ethan pulled Aaliyah close and kissed her, right there in front of everyone. She kissed him back, tears streaming down her face, not caring who saw. When they finally broke apart, he whispered, I love you, Aaliyah James, in front of the whole world. I love you too, she whispered back. The rest of the night was a blur of congratulations and handshakes. People who'd ignored her before suddenly wanted to know her story. She told it honestly. The missed interview, the dead battery, the chance meeting that changed everything. By the end of the night, her feet hurt and her face hurt from smiling, but her heart was full. Ethan took her back to the hotel suite, his suite that was starting to feel like theirs. You were amazing tonight, he said, pulling her close. You were pretty amazing yourself. I meant what I said, about you being the most important thing. I know. I felt it. She looked up at him. Thank you for not hiding me, for being proud of us. Always. He kissed her forehead. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Even better than a dead car battery, he laughed. Especially better than that. They stood at the window, looking out at the city lights. The same view from that first day, but everything had changed. You know what's funny? Aaliyah said softly. What? I spent so long thinking that missed interview was the worst thing that could happen, that I'd lost my one chance at something better. And now? She turned to face him, smiling through happy tears. Now I think missing that interview was the best thing I ever did. Why's that? Because it led me to you. Ethan's eyes shone as he pulled her into a kiss, deep and slow and full of promise. Outside, the city sparkled with possibility. Inside, two people who'd found each other against all odds, held tight to the love they'd been brave enough to fight for. Different worlds. Same heart, and a future full of everything that actually mattered. Love, trust, hope, and the courage to believe in happy endings.